watching this video class today. My name is Sherry, and this will be a slow isometric yoga flow. We will start with some warm-up with some vinyasas and giving you an opportunity, a lot of options to go at different levels in your practice today. If you want to do a little modification with the knees on the floor, on the mat, or off the mat. So join me today. Welcome to have you. Today I'll be using 2 yoga blocks, and I have a half of a yoga mat, or 1/4 of a yoga mat. You divide it in 4s or so, or 6 sections. You can use a towel, and then maybe a towel to wipe the sweat. So we're going to be trying to tap into some tapa, which is some fire, your yoga breath of fire, which sometimes can generate heat in your body if you're breathing in and out through your nose. So let's get started. We'll be sitting on a yoga block, or if you have the flexibility, you can use your towel rolled up, or just come on a block and sit into a hero's pose. The block's right underneath your sit bones. Knees are bent, the spine is long. Just sit for a moment here, just to get in tune with your breath. You want to close your eyes. And take a deep, deep breath in through your nose. Maybe slowing the breath down, counting to 6. With a long spine, breathe out through your nose. If it's not any congestion in your throat, and you're having any nose issue, nostril issue today. So let's do that about 3 more times. Take a deep breath in. And breathing out. Feeling your shoulders relax. Maybe sitting and rooting your sit bones down onto the block, or your towel, or your mat. Follow your breath 2 more times. Feeling the spine nice and long. Breathing in. And let's breathe out. Let all these things off your mind. Let it go. And stay in the present moment, bringing your breath, awareness back into your breath. 1 more time. And let's breathe out. We're going to come onto our forearms. We're going to remove the block or the towel for now. And hold to opposite elbows. And then placing your palms flat onto your mat. Let's extend the right leg back. Just feeling that delicious stretch in that right hip flexor. Looking down, the spine nice and long. When you're ready, you can pull your navel in, tuck your tail, and let's extend the left leg and find yourself into a nice plank pose. Again, you can bring your knees down. Either way. Knees on or off. You're engaging your abdominals, and you're drawing the navel in and feeling the hamstrings, pulling your hamstrings up towards the ceiling as you press slightly down into your forearms. Take 2 breaths here. Inhale. And then exhale. Again, as you inhale, feeling the breath in the sides and the back of the ribs, and then breathing out. Let's lower our thigh bones. Come into your sphinx pose. Feeling the chest come between the arms. Take a breath in. Relax the shoulders. Breathing out. Moving into stretch into those. Nice stretch into the chest. Coming back into the plank pose. Again, knees on or off the mat. Horizontally pressing onto your forearms to lift your thigh bones up toward your hamstrings, and your hamstrings up toward the ceiling. Breathe. And breathe out. 2 more breaths. And release. Swing your thighs back onto the mat and your chest in between your arms. Shoulders relax. Lower your chest onto the mat, tops of the feet. Let's bring our hands behind our back, and then releasing the knuckles away from the hand. And you're feeling that upper wide, broaden your chest. Pubic bone onto the mat. Neck is long. You want to go a little bit more. You lift the legs, thighs off the mat. Breathe. Breathe out. 2 more breaths. Nice chest expansion. And breathe out. 1 more time. Engaging the muscles in your thighs. Release. Let's bring our hands right underneath the shoulders, pressing the palms. Move it into our first downward dog in our practice together today. Press down on your forearms, finding the plank, knees on or off the mat. Lift the sit bones high, up to the sky. And breathe. You can start bending the knees, maybe pedal 1 foot, heel down at a time. Just starting to work up those hamstrings a little more. Spreading the fingers wide. Think of the chest bone, reaching toward your thumbs. Soften the knees. Ears between the biceps. Let's look between our hands. We're going to step, walk, or jump into the front of the mat. Into our forward fold. Starting our Vinyasa flow. Moving from the plank pose, from downward facing dog plank into mountain pose. Release your hands. So let's inhale, palms reach, extend your chest. Exhale, swan dive, arms by your side. Release your fingertips. Palms flat onto the mat. Looking forward, you can hop, step, or walk to your plank pose. Again, knees are on or off the mat. Let's breathe in here. Breathe out. Bending the knees. You can go into a modified chaturanga, our full version. Here, modified, full version. Breathe in. Exhale, tops of the feet. Coming into your cobra. Stretching your chest between your arms. Our upward facing dog. Tops of the feet, the palms on the mat, shoulder collar wide, neck is nice and long. From here, moving back to child's pose or downward facing dog, tops of the feet, rolling over to tops of the feet, and then exhale, either way from downward facing dog to child's pose. Remembering to breathe. Our knees are soft. Our resting pose, child's pose, or down dog. Let's look between our hands, bend the knees, hop, skip, or jump to the front of the mat. Exhale, fold. Relax the neck. Inhale, hands hidden on your shin. Lengthen your spine, look forward. Exhale, fold forward. Reverse the swan dive, arms by your side. Breathing out. Palms in front of your heart. Finding the rhythm of your breath. Take a deep breath in. Bring your prayer up toward the ceiling. And as we breathe out, we're going to swan dive, hinging from the hips. Fingertips on the mat. Bend your knees, filling your rib cage on your thighs. Walk, step, or hop to plank pose. Modified, knees onto the mat. Our full extension plank pose. From here, we're going to breathe in. We're going to go into chaturanga, or cobra pose. Forearms on the mat. Take a breath in. Tops of the feet. Again, here, upward facing. Our forearms onto the mat, cobra pose. Shoulders stay wide. Breath in. As we exhale, plank pose. Modified, knees on or off the mat. Dip for a little bit more. Top up, breath of fire. Exhale. Here from there, child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice. Hold here and breathe. Take a breath in. We'll meet into forward fold. Wherever you are, walk, step, hop, or to your front of the mat. Downward facing dog, our child's pose, meet into forward fold. Relax the neck. Swallow, relax your jaw. Take a breath in, hands on your shin. Exhale, fold. Your body in half, hinging from the hips. Coming out into all the way up, an extended mountain pose, arms out to the side. Let's breathe out. We got 3 more times. Just getting some heat generated. Put into a little bit of expression in your heart. You feel like you need to take off your jacket or sweater. I started with my little jacket on. From mountain pose, let's breathe in, let's reach arms up. Exhale, swan dive in a nice pool of blue water. Breathing in, halfway, exhale, fold. We're gonna hop, step, walk into a plank pose. Knees on or off the mat. Come forward on your tippy toes. Engage your inner thighs, pull your navel in. If you want to dip, full version of plank. Breathe, exhale, upward facing or cobra. Shoulders are wide, neck is long. Exhale, dip into plank, come into chaturanga. Or you can just skip that and we'll meet into downward facing dog, our child's pose. For a few breaths here. As we breathe in downward facing dog, feel the sit bones high. Put your thigh bones back. Heels don't have to exactly touch the mat. Breathe into the ribs. And you in child's pose. The back of the ribs, the sides. Looking forward between our thumbs. We're going to step 1 foot at a time, or both, hopping from downward facing dog, our child's pose, fold forward. Let's see if we can do 1 more. Breathing in, hands to your shin, halfway, exhale, fold. Arms out to your side, reverse the swan dive, reach your fingertips toward the ceiling, exhale, palms to your heart. Take a moment, find a deeper breath. Let's breathe in, reach up. Exhale, swan dive. From here, we're going to step, hop, or skip, or jump. No skipping, but hop, skip into the pack. You went into our plank pose, modifying. And then exhale, elbows by your side. Inhale, forearms on the mat are off. We come into cobra. Chest between the arms. Release your chest, modified version. Elbows onto your side and modify here and come into your plank, or fuller version of your plank. Breathe in, and then exhale. And if you in child's pose, let's all meet into downward facing dog from here. Let's breathe in. Exhale, lift the sit bones high into downward facing dog. Let's hold this breath, hold this position steady for 2 breaths. 1 more breath. Again, taking a break is always available. Let's press our right foot down and extend the left leg. So we're stretching the left hip and looking back, down, and you see your toes, your right toes, onto the mat. We can do this position, as you know, with the left knee on the mat, as we're in this position. So your choice. Take advantage of the yoga options. Breathe in. From here, we're going to move forward into a one-legged plank. We're gonna roll them, extend, coming forward, and then exhale, let's go back. One more time, exhale, rolling forward, shoulders over the wrist. You can lower the left knee, and then bringing your right elbow to your right thigh in modified position. Or, lift the sit bones high, and here we are with the full version, with the left foot laying off the mat. Breathe, looking down, inhale, back into one-legged down dog, knee on or off the mat. Let's breathe here. Again, if you want to go into child's pose, do that. Those who want to move a little bit more, we're going to go in crisscross. That right knee to the left elbow. If we're modifying, lowering the left knee onto the back. So we're going to warming up, a little bit warm up in those obliques on the right side. Breathe. Up, knee off, but breathe. And then exhale, slowly back into one-legged down dog. Always remember to breathe. Take your time, a little more work on your arms. Stay in child's pose for a few breaths. Moving forward, let's bring that knee right under the chest, lower the back knee on the mat. So we got the left knee on the mat. Here's modified, knee toward the nose, right knee, or lift up. Parachute your pelvis up toward the sky. Look between your hands, take a breath in, stepping your right foot between your hands. Breathing here, breathing out. One more breath in here. Let's breathe out. Let's bring the blocks. We have the lunge extension. You can have it here, or you can go into lower extension. With scissor, your back knee and your extension of your left hip back. So you're starting to feel that good stretch in your left hip. Scissor your thighs between the midline. Holding here with your hands on the block. Or some of us want to reach our arms back. Resting that right rib cage on your right thigh. Relaxing your right toes. Breathe. Spread your fingers wide so you can feel that connection in your core. Some of us want to reach our arm forward, palms facing. Notice if you have your fingers, your little pinky fingers facing, your shoulders be relaxed, your thumbs away, moving out externally. Your fingers are spread wide to sustain this pose. Breathe. Again, hands here, your choice. Take 2 more breaths. Breathe in. And exhale, draw the navel in. Breathe into the sides of the ribs. You might feel that deep stretch from your navel center down your left heel. Moving from here, lower the back foot flat. Pivot it in a 45 degree. So we're going to come into our warrior one. Shoulders, hips, square to the front of the mat. Again, think about the little pinkies moving toward each other, the thumbs away. So you keep your shoulders off your ears. Draw your navel in, hold it here, or reach your arms back, and we go into a forward fold with a chest expansion. You can interlace your fingers, hold here, or exhale, hinge forward. So you can feel your right shoulder slightly onto the thigh, the right thigh. Your hands can be on your mat, always an option. Look down, back at your left arch. So lift that arch, press on the big toe mount point of your left foot and the edges of your left foot. So that back foot is strong, and we're breathing. On the next breath in, we're going to slightly come forward, engage your core, feel your knuckles pressing back, and we're going to turn and pivot, taking that heel, taking your back heel off the mat. So your heel's reaching forward, your toes are reaching forward, and moving into a crescent lunge. Your knuckles coming down, tucking your tail, reach your arms out and up. Breathe. From here, move into warrior three. You can use your blocks, your hands on your blocks. You can take your blocks, you can bring them up forward, off of the mat, about an inch, or about 12 inches, no more than 6 inches or so. I won't move, but I'll stay in your view. Forward, keep the back knees, the front knee is bent. Slightly extend that front knee, soften the knee, in the modified version with our hands on the block. So you're coming halfway up, looking down the tip of your nose, the back toes, front, left toes, reaching down toward the mat. If you feel you have the balance, take one arm back, and then the other, and then opening your chest. Again, have the blocks available. You gotta use your core. And if you want, bring your fingertips down and bring in your back leg to meet the front and go into a forward fold. Shake your head no. Wonderful job. Let's take a breath in, reach your arms up, gather that energy up. As we exhale, find chair pose. So bring your legs together, breathing out, sitting back, sitting the hip bones, back. And then lifting up with your heart towards the ceiling. Keep the neck long and breathe. Sit bones reaching back toward the heels. Feeling the weight off the balls of the feet. Breathe. Exhale, swan dive. Release your arms down toward the mat. Let's breathe in, bring your hands to your thighs. And then exhale, release. And we can walk, step, or hop, your choice, to plank pose. Knees on or off the mat. If it's off the mat, roll onto your balls of your feet, shoulders in line with your wrists, bend your elbows, and cobra. Upward facing. Good stretch. Those hip flexors. Open your heart. Exhale, roll on your toes. Child's pose, downward facing dog, or one more dip. Plank, from plank pose, and holding here for 3 breaths. Again, take advantage of the yoga options, child's pose, to find your deeper breath, or if you feel like you want to work a little more, and all 7 muscle groups, shoulders, moving your thighs, and downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, our child's pose, we're going to step your left foot forward. And take a breath in. You can lift the back knee off the mat, or you can keep it on the mat if you're modifying. So we're going to feel the stretch in the right hip flexor. And bring your block in front of your front foot, holding here, back front knee forward, shooting that left hip front, back hip back, feeling that stretch in your right hip flexors. And this is a good stretch to be in. You want to go a little deeper, you can press down onto your front, balls of your front foot in the middle of your back heel, and come and bring your reach in your fingertip back, or forward. Squeezing those inner thighs. Neck is relaxed. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. So the neck is long, lifting down the tip of your nose. 4 more breaths here. Breathe in. I would like to feel your front knee reaching forward and pressing the back heel back. You feel that energy in that position. And take a breath in. Breathing out, draw the navel in. 2 more breaths. Inhale. It's like a movement meditation when we balance. And exhale. 1 more breath here. Release your hands. That's swivel, turning that back foot flat. So we're gonna move into that warrior one. Opening that left hip this time. So the back toes are in a 45-degree angle. As we reach arms up, shoulders square, hips square. Think about moving those pinky fingers, open them up toward the midline so you can keep that right shoulder square, don't move it back. Moving forward, open the chest. You reach your fingertips back. You can look up, draw your heart to the ceiling, and then hinge forward. Take your time. Front knee stay bent. Tuck your chin. Always feel your blocks. Breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath in. Let's breathe out. We're coming halfway up. Then we're going to turn your toes, your back toes to meet the front. Front toes with the front of the rim. Breathe in. Move into our warrior. Move into that warrior three. Bring the blocks forward and then lift. So the fingertips either on the block or the hands on the block. You can stay here. If you feel like you want to balance on the left leg, reaching your right toes down, so engaging your inner thighs, so working your core, and hands come together. A little wobbly, it's okay, but the navel has to be drawn in. Mula Bandha. Feel like you're holding your urine. Release your fingertips to feel sustained to balance on one leg. Let's step that right foot to meet the left and find your chair pose. Sitting back, hips back. When your arms are up, looking slightly up. Feel a little arch in your back. Breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly bring the knees a little lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your fingertips. Let's split the knees open and take a seat. So we're going to be doing some V-sits, a boat pose, flow. But first we're going to move into table. So from table to boat flow, pose, and do different variations to work the chest, extending towards the vertical of your chest, and then to open the heart and stretch your hip flexors. Let's start with our elbows back. Your fingertips can be forward towards your heels. They can be here, but I like them are here. But this feels more comfortable for me. Bend your elbows, and I want you to lift your heart. Slightly tuck your chin. Your knees are bent in line with your ankles, slightly parallel from your ankles. And we're going to breathe in, and we're going to lift the pelvis. And let's look down toward our knees until we can't see them anymore. So, in a strong tabletop position, slightly using your glutes. If you want to tilt your head back, swallow, relax your jaw, and let it hang. If that's uncomfortable, tuck your chin, like you're looking there. And then exhale. Let's bring your hips back and lift the heart. Let's try that one more time. Take a breath in, peeling your pelvis off to the mat. And looking up towards the ceiling, I need to tuck the chin. Release. For variation, finding our boat pose. Thighs, hands modifying, hands here. The toes are flexed, shoulders are relaxed. You want to extend the knee, draw the navel in, and lift. You want to reach for the toes. Little shaking is fine. From here, let's keep our feet flat. Coming back into table variation of a tabletop. Take a breath in. Exhale, peel the heart up. One foot at a time. Let's start with keeping your left foot onto the mat and lift the right. Hello, hamstrings. You want to go a little bit more? Those out there with the flexibility, extend the knee. You can take your head back. Make sure there's no pressure in your neck. Breathe. Bend that knee. Release. Lift the pelvis up a little higher. Exhale. Relax. Bring the pelvis to the mat. Modify back into boat pose. Hands here, behind the thighs. Extend the knees. You can even bring your fingertips here. So engage your core. If your core is not that steady by itself, just reach your fingertips onto the mat, like what I'm doing. Exhale, palms there. Hands back on the mat. Breathe in. That's an exhale. We're going to roll down to the tip of your shoulder blade as you extend the legs, or keep them bent. You can have your hands behind your head, looking there at your thighs. Again, you can have the left knee foot flat, or you can extend the right leg to extend the right leg. You can have a hand behind the right thigh, reach your hand here, landing a tangerine under your chin, and extend the left leg. Breathe. For 2, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. And the next breath out. Lower your right leg to meet the left. Slightly lift the left leg and come back into your boat pose. Modify. Hands behind the thighs. Hands and knees are bent. And breathe. Reset. Let's release the feet onto the mat. Take a deep breath in. Let's start with our hands behind. Let's do the other side. Stretching this left hip flexor. Inhale, exhale. Lift the pelvis. Look there, or your thigh, until you can't see your knees. Again, head can go all the way back. And you can tilt your chin. Take a breath in. Release into one more round the tabletop with that, with both foot on the mat. Take a breath in. Lift your heart. Exhale. Lift the pelvis. Find a comfortable position for your neck. Again, you can gaze down. Look at your thighs. And lift up your pelvis a little higher where you can't see your thighs anymore. To really feel the work in the hamstring, the arms, and release. Find a variation of boat pose. Lift the legs. A little bit more connected in the core. And moving into lowering, where you can just bring your shoulder blade. So come into a crunch like. The right knee can stay bent as you extend the left leg up. Again, you can grab behind the thigh. You can grab behind, hands behind the head. You can extend the right knee and breathe. Exhale, tuck the chin, lift your head a little higher, and then lift the right leg, lower the left leg, and then come into your boat pose. Woo. Breathe. Up. And release the feet, and bring the knees in line with it, coming back into your table pose with one leg. Elbows are bent behind, reaching back behind. Open your heart toward the ceiling. Take a breath in. Exhale, pelvis lift. If you want to go a little bit more, let's lift that left foot. You want a little bit more, extend the left knee. Little shaking. Work that core. Try to keep the pelvis in line so that don't be, one hip is going down. So keep those hips leveled Exhale, release the left foot. Open your heart towards the ceiling one more time. And exhale, coming back. Now, I'll give you an opportunity to move back into tabletop, or we can go like a version of tabletop or inclined plane. So the knees can be bent, the elbows are bent, and we start with like the tabletop prep with the chest reaching up. Spread the fingers wide, either this way or that. It's more comfortable with me, with my fingertips toward my toes. Take a breath in. And as you lift the pelvis, you bring the legs together and you extend, but you have to have both of your toes, the heels, and feel your tip, the balls of your toes, the balls of the feet, right your little toes right there on the mat. The big bump point, maybe the pinky toe, feeling all on the mat with an extension of the knee. Oh, really get into those hamstrings and hip flexors and expressing a love for your heart. Release slowly. Take a breath in. Hold here for a few breaths to stimulate, to calm your mind, and to find a deeper breath. Feel the rhythm of your heart. And from here, let's cross our ankles. And we're going to extend the knees and finding plank pose on or off the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll on your toes, bend your elbows, and cobra or upward facing, knees on or off the mat. Cobra or upward facing. Inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's work the hips a little bit more. From here, press down on your left foot and extend your right leg. Almost feeling that your head, your forehead, can come toward the mat. Look between your hands, step your right foot forward, and lower the back knee on the mat. Let's bring one block and bring it inside of the right foot. You can take it where horizontal. You can have both hands right here on the block. So you feel the outer right arm and your inner right thigh, so bone to bone. I like to position the block where it's lying in my front right toe. So inhale, and then exhale, we're gonna bend the back knee, your left knee. So your left toes are reaching there, and you're gonna reach your left arm back and see if you can hold on to the ankle or to the arch, to the outer edge of the foot. So you push the foot back in your hand, and you see if you can give you the balance to come up. And take a few breaths here. Again, the block is always there when you feel that you need support. Feel that stretch right in that left hip flexor. Press that toe back into your hand so you can open up that left side of your chest. Hand here, hand fingertip here, right fingertip. Feeling it into more of a deeper stretch in that hip flexor. And maybe your inner right thigh, maybe your forearm on the back. But you don't want to collapse in this pose. You want to kind of keep the spine like in a diagonal, but not a C curve in your spine. Breathe. Slowly release the left hand, release the left foot. Bring your left hand to the block. Let's go into a rotation. So reaching the right arm up. Maybe the left chest can open. Swivel it up toward the ceiling and lean slightly back. Any tension in your low back, any pinch, let's not move so deep. And let's move back off the pose. Breathe. Now from here, for those who feel like they want to stretch a little bit more, bending that left knee one more time, around the left ankle, the left foot. And as you press the foot back into the hand slightly forward. Open up, creating that space to your right shoulder stretching over your left ribs towards your right thigh, and breathe. Options, hand here, arm here, and you can do a twist. So you don't want to make sure you stand not on the outside of that right foot, pinky toe. Keep the right knee forward as you breathe. Deep stretch, feeling that breath into your right intercostal muscles. Maybe look up at the sky. Release the foot. Left hand on the block. Sweet roll. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee off the mat. Maybe taking the block in the front. If we're going to go into some twisted standing pose from here, we're going to lift the back foot off the mat. Moving here. Again, in crescent lunge. Take your time. Leave your hands here. Press your back heel back. Feel that stretching your left hip flexor. Tuck your tail under. Open your body. Open your shoulders. Open your heart. Breathe. Engage those pinky fingers so those shoulders stay out of your ears. Find your warrior three. Bring your arms back. You can go here if you want to challenge. Tuck your chin. Slightly come forward. You got your hands on the block. Fingertip on the block. I like to have the blocks shoulder width apart. It's too wide. Okay. Same hand, like your right hand, left leg, left arm, twist. Opening up. So your left toes going slightly forward, going toward the edge of the mat. Breathe. Release. As you release your left hand, notice your left toes go toward the mat. Now we're going to our twist, if you want to go deeper. So you can really release your right hand on your hip, slightly turn, rotate. You have the balance. Otherwise, look down. And with your right arm up, looking slightly your right eye with your right thumb. So your right thumb. You want to go a little deeper? Bending the left knee, reaching. You can do this with your knee on the mat. Right knee can be on the mat. And twist. We did this earlier with the right knee on the mat over to your heart. Release the left knee. Lift the right foot. The left knee extend. Release your right hand and bring your left foot to meet the right. And let's bow forward. A little bit more flexibility, the hamstrings. We do when you started. Inhale halfway. Exhale, sitting chair pose. Take your block, maybe onto the right side of your mat, and then sit into our chair. Twisted chair, opportunity to work those obliques. So you're taking the left elbow outside the right, looking down your left eye, making sure that that left knee is lining up with the right. If not, taking the left hip back. Look. You want a little bit more? Your right fingertip on the block. Going to a bigger twist. Your choice. You stay here. One more breath here. Exhale. Find chair. Put your arms up. Breathe out. Swan dive. Relax your head. Shake your head, no, not a yes. And step that right leg back. Lower the right knee to the mat. Okay, got the left knee lined up with the left ankle. Then take the block. And take it down horizontal. Maybe line with the big toe. Big hands, right hands inside. So you don't want to make sure that your left knee don't go tracking toward your toes, but just sit the hip back. So the right hip is going back, the left hip forward. Opportunity to use your padding. If it's too much for your knees, with your towel, or with this happy yoga pad, like I have, breathe here. You can hold here with the pose. You don't have to bend this knee, your right knee. So the same arm as the knee, bend, taking that hand back, right hand. You stay here, the hand on the block, so you feel that stretch right there, the hip flexor on the right side, and you can hold here. In this hand, left hand can come down, or you can bring the left hand onto the block. Not collapsing, you're going to a crunch, but keeping the spine into like diagonal. So the inner, the outer left arm bone connected to your inner left thigh. Breathe. Your hips will feel happy after this practice, I hope. So we don't want to move past discomfort. As you know your body, you're familiar with yoga. You don't want to go too deep into the stretch where we're tearing tissue. So from here, bring both hands onto the block, and we can come all the way up. Left hand, right hand stay there, and left arm up, moving into your twist. Shoulder, right shoulder is moving in towards your inner left thigh. Breathe. Holding here, or reaching back with that arm, left arm. And then bringing your left heel, pressing the heel away, like press the foot away, and maybe open the heart. So you twist here. Again, don't go roll over. An opportunity when you move this twist, the outer pinky toe, your left inner thigh hand or foot, try to go onto that outer edge. We don't want to do that. So press down your big point of your right foot, right big toe. Maybe you want to bring the form and then twist it open. But breathe. No pressure, no tension in your back. If this is not the pose today, at this moment, we're going to back off. Feel that stretch into the right quad, maybe the inner left thigh. Breathe one more breath. Slowly release the back foot. Take the block there. Take a breath in, come all the way up. Move it into crescent lunge. Maybe hands on the block. Lift the back knee off the mat. You can stay here just feeling this stretch. Lifting up and back is really good. For those who want to feel that right hip, it's maybe a little more tension, maybe need a little more stretch. But again, we're going to be moving into Warrior 3 where we're going to do a rotation and a twist. Options. So coming forward, stepping foot in, softening the bottom knee. Only hip height. You only want to bring that right leg in line with the right hip. So you can take your right hand, we can just go into a half moon. Stretch. So notice the right toes are moving out toward the right side of the mat instead of down toward the mat. And if you feel comfortable, you can look up. Lift your right hand. Thumb. Breathe. Twist. Looking down. Release the right hand. You want to go into that twist. Taking your left hand off the mat. Slowly rotating. And twist. You want to go a little more, a balance challenge. Draw your navel in. Bend your right knee. See if you can hold on to that knee. Lift the knee, lift the knee, lift, breathe. Release, coming back, twist it. Warrior 3, release the hand, release the right foot, take a deep breath in, exhale, find chair, Hands to your heart. Reach your sit bones back. Heart slightly out your chest. Twisting over to the left. Then bring the block here. So the right elbow, knees stay even. Check it down. Look down to right eye, down towards your right knee. Sometimes I want to move toward past the left. You want to go and twist a little bit more. And have your right fingertips there. And look up with your thumb. Breathe. We're going to move and meet up to chair pose. One more time. Reaching. And extended mountain pose. Palms facing. Hands to your heart. Ooh, take a deep breath. Find your deeper breath. Good time to take. We're going to bring our heart rate down before we come to cool down. Maybe you want to take a sip of water. Do one more balance pose, Lord of the Dance. One more balance pose, standing, Lord of the Dance, without bowing forward. So we want to get the extension of our heart instead of bowing forward. I'll turn and face you. Or come off the mat. So let's stand with our feet hip width apart and our knees are bent. And our palms are facing forward, just checking in. Let's start balancing on the left. So shift our weight to the left. And you can take your hand to the inside or outside of your right foot, so bend your right knee. So find something that's not moving. And extend your left arm. And then we're going to lift that right knee up slightly until we feel an arch. Feel that arch in your back so you feel that good stretch in that right hip flexor. So instead of bowing forward, we're going to keep the spine upright. So get the extension in our heart. And breathe. If you want, look up. That's silly. Take your time. Let's release the hand. You can go both hands for a good stretch. Open your heart up toward the sky. Look up and gracefully release the hand. Take a moment. Bring your hands to your heart. Notice the difference between the right and the left hip. That a little more deep into that right hip socket. The ball of the socket got into it. A little bit more, that good quad stretch. Oh, inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Just doing this to take a moment to just so you won't feel, you feel calm and relaxed. Sometimes doing balancing pose, we get a little wobbly, we get distracted with noise, and we kind of move a little bit out of the pose. We kind of wiggle, side to side. But we'll try this time on the right side. Most people are right-handed, and I'm that way, and we might feel balanced more on the right side than the left. Some people are even-handed, can do both. So let's take a moment here. When you're ready, shift your weight to the right foot, spread your right toe, bend the left knee, and grab the inside or outside. And then arm here, right arm. I like to bring the toes down so you can engage the muscles in your left quads, left hamstrings, left leg, all the way down toward the ankle, and breathe. Meditating. Connect to the breath. Slightly arch the back, look up, repeat. You want to grab behind, and see, reach that right hand to the right inner, and get that good chest opening, and release. Great work, everyone. So we're going to move back onto our mat if you were off. Now reach our arms up toward the ceiling. Take a breath in. Now we got the heart rate down. We breathe out, swan dive. Let's bring one knee onto the mat and the other, where we started, in hero pose. We have options. We can move into fish pose, or we can keep our knees bent somewhat, and they'll split apart, and we can lean back. If you want to do this, we'll start with the most challenging side, one position first, then we'll move to the lower one, since my knees are bent. So you have the knees bent. If you want, you can bring one hand, the elbow back, then the other, but the heart stay lifted. You can stay here. But if you feel that you feel okay, no tension in your back, bend one elbow down toward the mat arm, then the other. If you here, you can go back here. There's various options. Some of us take off the block here, bringing this side of the block underneath the shoulder blade. And you can have your head go all the way back. If that's comfortable for you today. If not, grab the elbows. Move it into fish pose and come out of the pose. You bring one elbow here, one, and then scoot up. Now, fish pose, as most of us know, with a restorative, using the restorative block, the knees can be bent, starting off. You can have the block right here underneath the bra strap or shoulder blade. The heart is up, the knees are bent. You can have your hands behind. Or you can extend the legs and open the mouth and breathe like a fish with the mouth open. If that's not too comfortable for you, again, those are just options. So either way, you know, fish pose can be here without the block, but your heart is up, looking here, and then you can come onto closer to the crown of the head, and the hands can be right here underneath the sit bones and in the back. So no pressure in your low back, and breathe. So if you want, wherever you are, close your eyes. Surrender. Allow your breath to just normally breathe in through your nose like you do when you sleep, when you're walking around during the day. So your heart is expressing love. Your hips are stretching. If you're ready to come out of the pose, wherever you are, lift your head slightly, come onto your forearms, and we do a cat and cow just to restart your spine. Let's inhale, lift the heart, press your heart between your arms, and then exhale, roll back onto your sit bones. Let's do that 5 more times just to reset the spine. Inhale, exhale. 3 more times. Good back bends sometimes need to give yourself a little love to reset the spine with moving your chest into expansion and then roll back onto your sit bones. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale. Let's fold and come all the way down to the mat. Let's slowly to your low back, to your middle back. Your hands behind your head if you need support with your neck. Then your upper back and your head. And let's release and surrender into Savasana. Palms can face forward. Let's stretch one fingertip toward the heel and then stretch that. Put that arm back in neutral and then shoulder and then reach the other. And then bring that shoulder. So broaden your shoulders wide. Surrender to your upper back. Surrender your inner thighs. Let your toes reach toward the corner of the mat. Just let go of your effort. Soften your lips. Let your tongue release from the roof of your mouth. And you can stay here as long as you like. If you feel you need a little more, just do that. There's no rush. Those who's ready to surrender, start moving your fingertips or just a release from our practice. Release and stretch it. Make circles with your ankles and your wrists. Bend one knee at a time. Let's bring our knees toward each other, like we're facing each other, we see each other. And we're gonna sit like here on our side for a second, a few moments like here, like a little in an infant position. And then we're gonna come all the way up. Whatever position you want your legs to be in, do that. And we're gonna come in. Just come in, end our practice in a seated, comfortable position, wherever you like. We're going to take one more breath in, reach your arms up, palms touch. Let's bring our hands and our thumb in front of our third eye, between the eyebrows. Let's bow our heads to our hearts of hearts. Feel the light in me, feel the light in you. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.